Welcome into the Farzy Show, presented by DestinationRetirement.com, coming to you live from the Steven Singer Studios as we do every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. We got so much to get to. The Phillies are mashing. The Sixers were in first place for about 30 seconds, which was nice. It was nice while it lasted. Now they're in fourth place, which the NBA is fun. That's how tightly wrapped the Eastern Conference is, but they lose to the Suns last night. We got some conversation to get into as well. But the breaking news, folks, in case you have been living under a rock. First off, the Oscars were last night. Second, I would not have known that had it not been for Chris Rock getting slapped in the face by Will Smith. Now, I know a lot of people, yes, that's true. That happened. If you're just waking up with me, you haven't even checked Twitter yet, that happened. A lot of people, didn't know, like me, didn't know the Oscars were last night. A lot of people found out because they all of a sudden started seeing everything about Will Smith and Chris Rock and slapping a guy in the face. What? So, of course, I keep on scrolling to get explanation. The Suns Sixers game was over by this point, and I'm trying to find out what the heck's going on. And sure enough, Chris Rock makes a G.I. Jane joke about Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. And at first, Will Smith laughed at it, and then I guess he got the old side eye from the missus, and then walked up on stage and slapped Chris Rock in the face. Chris Rock took it. You can see the shock on his face. Will Smith walked off the stage, sat back down, and then a couple of minutes later won an Oscar for Best Actor. Only in America, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll go back and we'll talk about that. But let's talk some baseball. Let's talk some basketball as well. Even though that's the spicy meatball that I know a lot of people are going to be kicking around. We also got March Madness to talk about. Darrly Reynolds of Villanova fame will be joining us in just a little bit to talk about where Villanova goes from here. They obviously going into the Final Four again, and it seems like whenever they go into the Final Four with Jay Wright, next thing they win a championship. So they'll just cross this next one off their list when they go up against Kansas, and then hopefully go on to win a championship for the Nova Nation people, and you guys will be all excited as per usual. Darrly Reynolds will talk to us about that. Also, where they go from Justin Moore, who ruptured his Achilles and is not going to be available, obviously, for the rest of this tournament. And hopefully it does not affect him going into the future. So we'll talk about that and all that and more as the show goes on today, ladies and gentlemen. But let's start it off with those 76ers and what happened last night. They lose to the Phoenix Suns in a game that they were going into as first place in the Eastern Conference, going up against the number one team in the Western Conference, a team with 60 wins under their belt. Obviously, also a team that's just getting Chris Paul back in the lineup from his injury. Devin Booker has been dealing. DeAndre Ayton is a hell of a center to go up against Joel Embiid, but it seems like still Joel Embiid just does what he does best, which is just dominate. 37 points for Joel Embiid last night. That was not the problem. The problem for the 76ers last night was James Harden. And what's the problem for me here is that James Harden comes out in that game against the Lakers and absolutely dominates. James Harden goes out against the Clippers, absolutely 100% dominates, actually outscores Joel Embiid in that game. They're thinking, okay, maybe now he has righted the ship. Comes out last night, not so much. 2 for 11 from the floor, 14 points, 8 of which were from a perfect trip to the charity stripe where he was 8 for 8 on the day. 8 points of his 14 points coming at the foul line. And I'm not about to start banging the drum for Tyronn Lue. Oh, Tyronn Lue, what he said about, all their points come from the foul line. Oh, take away their points. They're a terrible team. Whatever the hell he said about the foul shot, I don't give a damn. I don't mind that part of James Harden's game. Part of James Harden's game that I mind is where he really struggles from the floor. And that could be said for any NBA player, but when you're supposed to be the guy to put you over the hump, you can't have as many games struggling from the floor as James Harden has had so far with the Sixers. Now, you look at his three-pointers, 2 for 5 from 3. I can live with that from James Harden, no doubt. But when it comes to his overall performance from the floor, kind of needs some more consistency from James Harden. Overall, this team just looked like, I hate to say this after they weren't playing a lot of back-to-backs or anything like that, but they just looked like a team against the best team in the NBA that did not have their best stuff, whether that be their turnovers, whether that be their overall shooting percentage from the floor. 27%, I think, is what they shot from the three-point line last night, from beyond the arc. But overall, they just did not look like down the stretch they had it. They would go up on a 12-0 run, then they would allow the Phoenix Suns to counter with a 13-0 run like they did at the end of the first half. Sixers were up by, like I said, 15 at one point in this game and couldn't hold the Phoenix Suns at bay. You look across the way and you say, well, hey, look at the Suns. They're the best team in the NBA. They're going to have those types of runs in them. They're going to have those types of runs, especially when you have a guy that can control the pace of play like Chris Paul, because few people do that better than him in the NBA. If they feel like if it feels like his team is starting to let things slip away, or they're getting down 10 points, 15 points in this case, all right, let me just play the role of maestro here and settle things down and make sure we get good possessions and get good shots in those good possessions. And that's exactly what Chris Paul did last night. And that's exactly what Devin Booker did last night as well, in terms of capitalizing on those possessions with 35 points for Devin Booker. Overall, and McCall Bridges' defense was just impeccable yet again. This was a game where the Suns flexed, basically. As much as the Sixers want to be that dominant team in the Eastern Conference and a force to be reckoned with when it comes to matchups with the Western Conference, as they have done throughout this road trip, at least in their first two games, it wasn't there for the taking when it came to this game against the Suns. The Suns showed their dominance in the league, especially going into the game against the team that was the number one team in the Eastern Conference. Sixers just didn't have it as the game went on. Joel Embiid tried to keep them in it. They fought, they scratched, they clawed. They closed it, I believe, within 3 points in the final frame. But just weren't able to get over that hump, unfortunately, and the Suns were able to take control. Doc Rivers said it basically came down to wasted possessions, which is something I don't know if I didn't know that they called him that. I assume they tracked something similar, but Doc Rivers after the game talked about how you can't waste possessions against the number one team in the NBA.
They're a hell of a team, and you can beat that team, but you got to hang in there through the game. You can't have wasted possessions. I bet we had 17 wasted possessions tonight. Against any good team, you're not going to win that game. And on the other end, we probably had that many mistakes in our switches and stuff, so good thing, obviously we know we can play with anyone, but just playing with anyone is not satisfying to me. These are winnable games. Tonight we didn't win.
Do you guys track, wasted possessions, I guess?
Yeah.
And that's something you look for after every game?
Yeah, you didn't have to look tonight.
So not exactly happy with the way his team handled some of those possessions. In fact, wasting them. Is it just me? I don't hear too many instances where Doc Rivers talks about, I need to do a better job. That was something I needed to take control of. That was something I should have. I don't hear Doc, not that I'm clamoring, or I ever thought really I'd be clamoring for it. I got to do a better job since Andy Reid left. But I'm kind of clamoring for it for Doc Rivers. Doc, what about maybe calling timeouts? The team's going on a run like that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you could switch up your bench play a little bit more. Maybe you could switch up your rotations a little bit more. Maybe when it's not working, if it was working in the first half and then it's not working in the second, maybe go back to what you were doing in the first half a little bit more. Maybe that's something that I just, every once in a while, I would love to hear from Doc Rivers. That was something I got to improve on. I didn't have whatever rotation out there that I should have had. I didn't call this play for our offense to run when they should have run that. Not that that's the NBA by any means, where you're calling up fists anymore or anything like that, calling out plays or anything like that. But I see him trying to coach up a guy like Tyrese Maxey, because there was a situation late in that second quarter where Tyrese Maxey was open on the wing. James Harden's dribbling. Two men are on him. And Maxey's just out there on the wing, foul line extended to the perimeter, waiting for the basketball. And I'm thinking, well, just cut to the basket. Can you cut to the basket and make something happen? But he wanted to stand out there at the three-point line, which later in the second half, he came alive a little bit and got things going for himself to the tune of 2 3-pointers that he hit. But he's standing there on the wing. I'm thinking, just cut to the basket. There's a simple bounce pass layup, you're good. And it looked like Doc Rivers was trying to tell him that after the play happened. I don't know. I went back and looked. I didn't see Doc Rivers yelling over to Tyrese Maxey to do it then in the moment. It was after the moment. Maybe that's something he could have done a little earlier in the play. But I never hear really Doc Rivers after a game go, all right, this is what we did as a team. This is what I should have done. And it makes me go back to the exchange he had with a guy who's been on this show, Kai Carlin, saying, would you ask Pop that question? Hey, Coach, what could you have done different tonight? Would you ask Pop that question? What about this loss was coaching? Would you ask Pop that question? No, I wouldn't ask Pop that because he's won 5 championships. You've won 1. And you did it with a team of 3 Hall of Famers. Pop won 5 championships. You got one of them, and you've blown more 3-1 leads in the playoffs than anybody. So, yes, I would ask you that question. I wouldn't ask Pop that question to answer your question. But no, Doc won't take responsibility. Doc, just a little bit. What do you think about what happened out there today? What happened with you? God forbid. There's something I've noticed with Doc Rivers. Now, I'm not saying anything he said last night was wrong. I just find it interesting that I rarely ever hear him say, well, this is what I could have done last night. Okay. Or in this particular game. Okay. So that was Doc last night. Now, they had 12 turnovers in the game. The Suns had 13 turnovers. So turnovers weren't the huge issue. It kind of balanced out for the Sixers last night. But when they talk about wasted possessions, they're talking about not getting good quality opportunities. They're talking about not finishing at the rim. They're talking about not getting points. And when you waste those possessions, 17 of them, according to what they counted, and the little chuckle about, oh, you didn't have to look tonight. It was pretty easy. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And it makes me think of our wonderful chat and Duck Rivers, if you know what I'm saying. Duck and responsibility, duck and blame. Joel Embiid had something similar to say after the game, but it more so was on the lines of the Phoenix Suns are just a good basketball team, and they just couldn't hang in with them. This is Joel Embiid after the game last night.
I mean, obviously, that's the best team in the league for a reason. They're deep. They got a bunch of great players that play well together. They're connected in everything they do, offensively and defensively. They don't get rattled. That's why, they're the best team in the league. And for us, like I said, we got a long way to go to get to that level. And we don't have a lot of games left. But, we made a lot of mistakes. We did that, that could have changed the game.
I would say sloppy is a big thing that fell upon the Sixers last night. Getting the ball to Joel Embiid in the post. There's a couple opportunities where he wasn't able to finish. Very few and far between. There were opportunities, obviously, earlier in this game for a guy like Tyrese Maxey to have an impact. He didn't. He responded in the second half, like I said. And Tobias Harris continues to be an enigma. I feel like, first off, my overall critique of Tobias Harris is I feel like if he dribbles the basketball more than 3 times, it's a bad possession. Because often I'll see him get the ball in the wing, try to get down in the post, bounce, dribble, and then it seems like he doesn't know what to do with the basketball. You need quick decisions from Tobias Harris because one of the things he has in his rather tall frame is quickness, which a lot of players in the NBA don't have that combination. He's got that combination. When he keeps on dribbling the basketball and waits to make the decision, he's allowing that defender to get physical and D him up harder. And whenever he's allowing that, you're giving the advantage more so to the defense than you are taking advantage of your own personal skill set, which is your speed and quickness. Whenever he takes a long time to make his decision, the defender's just getting better and better and establishing more position. And that's where I see Tobias Harris really start to struggle. I love Tobias Harris in the catch and release game, in the corner. That's why I think you see a couple of different occasions 2 nights ago against the Clippers, yesterday a little bit against the Magic. He was able to do this. He gets the ball in the corner, catch and release situation at the end of the first half. He's hitting that 3. I love him in those catch and release situations because there's no thinking. The more Tobias thinks, the more there is likely there's going to be a problem, and you're more likely to have yet another wasted possession. First half of the game, I thought he was making those quick decisions. Second half of the game, not so much. And I really like, and here's something I will say about Doc Rivers that I like how he has split up with Tobias Harris's time. I like how he has put him on the bench first, pretty much in the first half. He brings in George Niang or Danny Green, whoever it might be off the bench, to get into that starting lineup and play with those other 4 starters. I like Tobias Harris coming off with that second unit, Tyrese Maxey being a part of that as well. I think that is a good rotation. In the second half, I don't know what the hell happened with that rotation. I don't know what the hell happened with Tobias Harris. But it seemed like he went back to that, oh no, I got to control this possession and try to force something to happen. So if you make that decision earlier on in the possession, seems like it's a lot more likely to work out in the Sixers' favor. And that certainly did not happen last night for the Sixers in this game. One thing that I do really need to see more consistency from, and James Harden talked about it after the game as well, is just I need to see more consistency from James Harden. And if there was one thing I was concerned about with the Sixers making this move, and I voiced it on the show before the move was even made, when it was really starting to ramp up, it was the volume shooting from James Harden. And it was that, a lot of times 20 points per game, 25 points per game. That looks really good on the stat sheet. Every time. It looks great on the stat sheet. But when you constantly see 2 for 8 from 3, when you constantly see 4 for 17 from the floor, when you constantly see those types of 17 shots for 17 points, it's the old AI line. It's 30 points on 30 shots. Well, yeah, you better get 30 points with 30 shots. But you're going to the free throw line as many times as James Harden is, you're going to get points. Like last night, you got 8 of them from the free throw line. The type of volume shooting right now you're seeing from the Sixers and seeing from James Harden, if you're going to shoot that many times, you got to see those point totals go up. And I thought we were finally clicking it into high gear after the game against the Clippers where James Harden went off. I thought they had solved the problem. Thought they have cracked the code. And last night was an example of, no, this is going to continue to be inconsistent. So the Sixers go from 1st to 4th all of a sudden. In case you're wondering, the Boston Celtics now occupy the top spot in the Eastern Conference. You guys are just separated by a half game. And the Sixers got the Bucks coming up tomorrow. So things don't get any easier. And right now, by the way, Kyrie Irving played his first home game yesterday. And right now, the Sixers are the Nets are the 9 seed, if that's even a seed, with a play-in tournament in the Eastern Conference. So that's where we're at in the NBA. Before I get to what everyone's going to be talking about around the water coolers and on their Zoom calls today, that's the old Will Smith and Chris Rock thing. Let me get to this. Phillies spring training has been smashing. Yesterday, they get 5 home runs. Bryce Harper had 2 home runs. Didi Gregorius went yard. Bryson Stott went yard. Hoskins go yard yesterday. Who else went yard yesterday? So many. I lost count. Stott. Oh, Mickey Moniak. Mickey Moniak went yard yesterday. And that's a great sign as well because we're trying to figure out who's going to be the Phillies center fielder opening day. Matt Vierling's been hitting the ball really well. He's got 6 RBIs. He actually leads the team. What? 6 RBIs for Matt Vierling. He's hitting .294 on the spring. He's also getting on base. His on base percentage is .368. So Matt Vierling's having himself a nice little spring. Mickey Moniak, the average isn't there so much, but the power numbers are there, which I never thought I'd say about Mickey Moniak. He's got 3 this spring so far. Please, somebody. While Odubel Herrera is out, please, I beg of you, do what you were unable to do last year. Take the job from him. The Phillies, and I've said it earlier, you got to save the Phillies from themselves. The Phillies apparently don't want to rid themselves of Odubel Herrera. It's up to Matt Vierling, Mickey Moniak. Scott Kingery has been optioned already. He's already in minor league ball. It's up to these 2 guys to take over the center field spot for Philadelphia Phillies going forward. Please and thank you. Vierling, Moniak, do not let this go. Take over the center field spot. Right now, spring is nice. Have a nice little spring. Well, we talked about it a lot last year. It's like, what counts less? Like, what really means less? What are more hollow numbers? Are they preseason football or are they spring training? What are the more hollow numbers? It's tough to say. I would kind of go with the football. But baseball, for me, it's close. I'd still say football. Just because you see a guy throw for 3 touchdowns, then he's cut. You never see him again. Baseball, it just seems like, we'll put him in minor leagues and he'll be up later in the year. That's kind of how it looks like, or kind of what it looks like. But right now, just one of those 2 guys, please take the center field reins as quickly as possible. Thank you. Bryson Stott gets the start at third base yesterday. And doing so, hits a home run playing third base. He played a little bit of third base, not a lot of third base at the minor league level. And he's only played 10 games in total at AAA. 24 years old. You usually want guys like that, wherever they are, AAA or the big leagues, to get playing time. That third base bag is up for grabs right now. They have right now Alec Boehm trying to compete for that spot. They got the new guy from the Braves, Camargo, playing at third base as well, who had a great 2018, by the way, like 19 home runs for the Braves. Like, could put it together well. Can play all over the infield. He's another competitor there for the third base spot. But there's no doubt in my mind that if Didi Gregorius hits this year, plays a decent shortstop position, then he'll be your everyday guy. But if that third base spot is still very much open, could you imagine Bryson Stott taking that over? Imagine having a young guy going through the system, a top pick, playing third base, hitting well for you, playing good defense. Like, let's just live in that fantasy world for a second, because it's been a minute since we've seen it. Even 2 years ago with Alec Boehm trying to take the league by storm, hitting, leading the league in runners in scoring position, hitting with runners in scoring position. He didn't play a good third base. He was hitting the ball really well, but he wasn't playing well defensively. Now we have a new hope and a 24-year-old top pick in Bryson Stott. Hopefully he can be the guy now. Our eyes will turn to him, and hopefully he can get it going. But the Phillies absolutely mashing. Nick Castellanos got his first start with the Phillies. Nick Castellanos got his first hit with the Phillies. And if you didn't see it, through the Toronto Blue Jays broadcast, Phillies get a 10-5 win yesterday, by the way. Nick Castellanos steps up to the plate, gets his first hit, and instead of doing the play-by-play of it, his first hit is a Philly, the Toronto Blue Jays are talking about how one of their coaches just got arrested for a DUI. Cool. Not that I was chomping at the bit for that first call of a Nick Castellanos hit for the Phillies. That won't count until it's actual spring training. Actual spring training's over. But, that just happened. Yeah. But the best part about Nick Castellanos wasn't the fact that he was playing yesterday. It was what he said after the game. Bryce Harper hits 2 home runs during the game. Afterwards, they catch up with Nick Castellanos, and he says, if Bryce Harper's basically batting third and I'm batting cleanup, then I got the best seat in the house for Bryce Harper hitting home runs. And to actually quote him yesterday, I was paraphrasing, but what he actually said was, man, I hope he's got about 50 more of those left in his back pocket. That right there, along with 5 home runs in yesterday's game, oh, that got it going, ladies and gentlemen. That got it going for Phillies starting the regular season in just less than 2 weeks. Baseball sucks. Phillies are awesome. That'll be my mindset, my mentality throughout at least the rest of this year. So that's how I'll see it. Let's jump into it. I did not know the Oscars were. I didn't know the Oscars were last night. I'm watching the Sixers. That ends. Watching post game. I'm feeding Leo, 2 months old now, my son, and I'm feeding him. And he takes a break. I take a break. I look at my phone, and it's everyone. Will Smith, Chris Rock, slap in the face. And I'm like, what kind of bit was this? Was this Jack Black, Will Ferrell doing like a comedic bit during the Oscars to get everybody's attention, like wake everybody up? You know what I'm saying? Nope. When I watched the Japanese feed, which actually had the slap and had Will Smith yelling, keep my wife's name out your bleeping mouth, that was real. I know a lot of people thought it was fake. It didn't seem fake to me. It didn't seem staged. It didn't seem like a publicity stunt. But I also was weighing the option of, because I didn't see it live, okay, what would be the benefit of the Academy doing this right now towards the end of the show? And obviously, when they already know a lot of people aren't watching like they used to anyway, what would be the benefit? What would be the benefit to Chris Rock then stumbling into introducing his category? What would be the benefit of Will Smith doing that and then taking the stage to accept the Best Actor Oscar? There is no benefit. Now, what if it was just the two Chris Rock conspiracy theory? Chris Rock, Will Smith, what if it was fake? Still doesn't make any damn sense. Why would Will Smith want to do that on what was going to be the best night of his career? So it didn't make any sense. So if you didn't see it, you will many times over if you're on the old social media and if you subscribe to this show, if you're watching me on the digital platforms, then yeah, I think you've seen it. I never thought it was fake. It looked real from jump. And what I thought was interesting was that Will Smith originally is laughing at the G.I. Jane joke that Chris Rock had to say about Jada Smith. And it's weird. Over the last couple of years, I've been like, wait, are Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, are they still married? Because they had the whole entanglement situation, if you remember. There's been cheating scandals. There's been Will Smith talking about how he was a sex addict, more or less. There's been all this stuff said, and I'm like, but they're still married. Oh, wow. And not only are they still married, Will Smith is willing to slap another man in the face on worldwide television. And in this day and age when nothing goes away, everything's always there digitally, willing to go up and slap another man in the face over his wife's honor. I don't know them personally. I don't know their relationship. It seems messed up as all hell. But apparently making a G.I. Jane balding joke about Will Smith's wife is the end-all be-all. I think we've all been there with our significant others in this regard, thinking something's funny, looking at your significant other, oh, that ain't funny. And now, oh, you better stop laughing. So then I guess the balance to that was, I'll show you how not funny this is. And he goes up and slaps Chris Rock. I thought it was egregious. And then Will Smith goes up there to accept his best ask. And like, if you would have told me that Will Smith won an Oscar, I would be so happy. Like, a guy from Philadelphia, obviously West Philadelphia, we all know the song. We all know Will Smith. I'd be so happy. I thought he was phenomenal in Ali. I think he was phenomenal in Pursuit of Happiness. I just think the guy is a tremendous actor. If you would have told me he would have won, I would have been ecstatic. But I'm watching his acceptance speech, which I watched later, and he's talking about what you'll do for love. Love will make you do crazy things. He's talking about how he's got to protect people from abuse and everything. Everybody's thinking the same thing I'm thinking, which is you literally just slapped a man in the face for making a comedian for making a joke. And Chris Rock even said, dude, it was a G.I. Jane joke. Like, not exactly topical. And Chris Rock takes the slap, goes, I just got the bleep slapped out of me by Will Smith, and then kind of looks around and goes, all right, now let's give out our documentary, our award for best documentary, and then goes into it. Amy Schumer had a great line a couple of minutes later. She comes out as more comic relief and goes, hey, I was in the bathroom. Did I miss anything? I thought it was a great line. You want to talk about awkward? She went up to Kirsten Dunst and treated her like a seat filler and tried to move her out of the way. That would have been funny if it was Denzel, like somebody that everybody knows. But like Kirsten Dunst, I can't remember anything that she's been in recently. So that was weird. But everyone had to sit through what might have been the oddest moment in television history with Chris Rock and Will Smith, and then had to sit through one of the most cringeworthy events in television history. Will Smith, which was supposed to be the highlight of his career, accept an Oscar after he just slapped another man in the face. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know Will Smith. I don't know Jada. I don't know them. It certainly seems like from the outside looking in, they got the weirdest relationship ever. It just seems odd. Will Smith would sit across from his wife on her show, Red Table Talk or something, and she would tell him about having an affair with their son's friend, and Will Smith just has to sit there and take it. And then Will Smith would go out and talk about how he's basically just been having a lot of the old sex and just not really get into, like, that stuff's fine, but a G.I. Jane joke, that's over the limit. I don't get it. So that happened. Hey, the Oscars were last night, by the way, people. There you go. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, about the great people of Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. My man, Mike Seibert, retirement income certified professional. He's a financial advisor for Eagles and Sixers fans only. And his firm, Destination Retirement LLC, is a full-service planning firm and a partner of 1847 Financial. Mike helps clients with their accumulation and distribution years. What's the difference? A lot. Have you figured out how much you'll need per month when you retire? How much your retirement income would you like guaranteed no matter what? Do you want to protect any assets from downside market risk? And do you have a written plan in place? If you have answers, if you have questions and you need answers, you have assets of $250,000 or more, Mike will create a written plan to help you offset your retirement expenses free of charge using software from Retirement Analyzer. He usually charges just under $2,000 for this service, so act now. Your plan will show you how you can offset your retirement expenses, what you can do in a volatile market, and also how you can minimize taxes. With over 30 years of experience, Mike is committed to helping Eagles and Sixers fans get to and through retirement. You can reach Mike at 484-275-6035, 275-6035 or visit destinationretirement.com. That's destinationretirement.com. Click on Find Out at the top of the page and fill out the questionnaire to see how prepared you are for retirement and to sign up for his newsletter as well. He'll get back to you and let you know how he can help. As always, go Birds and play the song. How about man Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers? If you're looking for the perfect gift, Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, or online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Here's what everyone loves about Steven Singer. Well, most everyone loves this about Steven Singer. The perfect price. You know who doesn't like the perfect price? Other jewelers don't like the perfect price, or the guy that's been putting off getting engaged because he didn't know anything about diamonds or it's too expensive. Not at Steven Singer Jewelers, because you get that perfect price and you get taken care of by a real jewelry expert. So when you look at all their beautiful inventory on IHateStevenSinger.com and you go into the store to check it out, you know you're getting taken care of. You're not getting taken advantage of. You don't have to worry about if the person next to you is getting some kind of better deal. They're getting the perfect price just like you're getting the perfect price. Also, they have Ready for Love diamond engagement rings standing by at the ready for those that just want to pop the question and get engaged to that special someone in your life. So do what I do. Talk to Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row in Philadelphia. For over 40 years, he's been in the love business, helping Philadelphia get engaged at Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. IHateStevenSinger.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an incredible March Madness. One of the best I can remember in a long, long time. You've had a 15 seed make it to the Elite Eight for the first time ever. You're going to have UNC taking on Duke for the first time ever in March Madness. And you have Villanova, for the local people, Villanova taking on Kansas. Kansas, a historic program. Villanova now a historic program as they're in pursuit of the school's third national championship, second under Jay Wright. Fourth national championship, second under Jay Wright. The other under Raleigh Massimino, as we all know, back in '85. Absolutely incredible the run that they're on. They just lost Justin Moore. But you've had a 15 seed in the St. Peter's Peacocks. Shout out to the Peacocks. Go down yesterday in an incredible game that they just got owned basically by UNC. You had Kansas come out fighting off an awful first half to hold to hold Miami a 10 seed to just 15 points in the second half. This March Madness has had it all, and this Final Four is going to be a special Final Four. To help us understand it all, Darrly Reynolds, our friend from Villanova, member of the 2016 National Championship team, helps us understand it and break it all down further. He joins us right now on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Joining us now on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line, our good friend, Villanova champion from the 2016 squad, as well as writing a book right now that just sounds phenomenal, and I believe it in the title at least. What if the world stopped complaining about Mondays? Yes, that's his book. Darrly Reynolds joins us. What's up, D-Ray?
Chilling. How you been, Farzy?
I've been fantastic. First off, I didn't even know about this book until a little bit ago. What is this? What are we writing here? What are we working on? I love the title, and I believe in it, but what do you got going on?
So it was, I did a TED Talk around this time last year, and I kind of laid out these like rules for self-sufficiency that helped me, in my basketball career, helped me afterwards, helped me with everything once I had my injury. And people, they were talking about the information. It was like, it was well received. They liked it. They could understand it was digestible. And I was like, what if I sat down and wrote this shit out? And then last summer, I took the summer, I really wrote it out. And I want to say like the end of last fall, I published the book on Amazon, self-published it, you know what I mean? And it's been going good. I've been getting some good feedback on it. I ain't never wrote anything, so it's nice to, have something out there. But yeah, I wanted to I don't think that my basketball career or, afterwards would have went as well as it did without these like guidelines and rules. So I wanted to put it in writing.
Life's all about perspective, my friend, and I'm sure that book gives people the right perspective. Speaking of that basketball team and your basketball career, that Jay Wright fella, that Villanova guy, that school you went to. Now, I just want to start off with it, and I don't like patting ourselves on the back, but when you and I show our utter brilliance, I feel like we need to. The last time we spoke, We talked about Jay Wright. Not what if it was a world where he didn't have to wear a suit ever again? Would he be happy or sad? Here we are in that world as we predicted, and he seems to be the happiest man in town.
I think people don't understand how restricting them suits are, man. Then listen, you understand as a coach, then you have players like me that notice sweat stains up under the armpits, and you know what I mean. And I kind of poke and prod and shit like that. So you get enough of those guys in the locker room. The suit thing it's a little old fashioned.
Well, I love that they're all comfortable now, at least, and Jay Wright looks like he's never been more comfortable. What I am amazed with is that every single tournament now, it seems like every single year, starting with your 2016 squad at Nova, it just seems like no matter what the adversity is, if they're not going to win, they're going to put their best foot forward, and they're going to at least compete. Well, here they are now yet again in the Final Four. The only times they do that, they seem to win the championship, as you well know. What is it about Jay Wright and this Villanova team in particular that just keeps on being able to push forward no matter what adversity faces them?
I think it starts with their seniors, Damir Cosby Roundtree, Jermaine Samuels, and Colin Gillespie. Were all freshmen in 2018 when they won. So because of COVID rules, all of them were allowed to come back for their 5th year. And I think them just being here before helps. But it's also the culture. I mean, coach has done a great job. I would say a little bit, probably right before the conference alignment back in 2013. He's done a great job of getting dudes to just buy completely into Villanova. And obviously, as you win, then it becomes that much harder for the guys who are coming in to not do the same thing. Because now they're coming in saying, I don't want to mess this up. I want to make the older guys proud like we did. Tell me what I got to do? You know what I mean? When you have soldiers like that, it's just, you got a different basketball team. I think that's what's contributed to like the consistent success.
The other part of it is more adversity is going to be in their way. I mean, Colin Gillespie had to come back from an MCL injury. And now it's been reported that Justin Moore has the ACL tear, so he's done as well. What would you tell Justin Moore right now as he heard this news?
This is part of the story. I think so much of our program is built on how you respond. And it's hilarious that he has a guy, if I remember correctly, because I was there, I coached Justin a little bit. I'm pretty sure their lockers are 2-3 spaces apart. A guy who and Colin Gillespie, who had an injury last year. And now you ask him, but look at how he responded. You know what I mean? The guy comes back for a 5th year as a senior. Like, look at how he bounced back from that injury from people. You go down with something with your knee, people think they'll never see you again. And because of sports medicine development, it's not the case anymore. So it's like this kid could come back better than ever, especially after having his time to sit out and really digest and really look at the game from a different perspective. Like, he could come back a beast. So I think it's how you respond. You know what I mean? And just know it's all part of the story.
It really is incredible when you think about it. A guy like Colin Gillespie, though, came back from his MCL injury, playing at the level that he is. You mentioned seeing him come in as a 2018 as a freshman, fighting his way through. How has his game changed from then till now?
I mean, Colin, if you watch Colin in high school, Colin grew up pretty much in the Northeast. And anybody who know Northeast Philly know it ain't nothing soft about Northeast Philly.
No, absolutely not.
So he had a, and I know the word is overused at this point. He had a grittiness to his game already. He had a very good ISO game in high school. You could see him in high school. If they needed a bucket, he could go and get it. I think the difference between Colin now and Colin then is Colin now just is a great decision maker. So as aggressive as he can be, as many clutch shots he's hit, you watch him the times that he doesn't shoot the ball and where the ball gets to, and just the decision, like the pace that he plays at, he looks like a pro out there. You know what I mean? It looks like every situation, he's seen it so many times where he just never looks panicked. And that's what I'm looking for. Like the other day, I'm watching the game. Houston started to go on a run. They cut it down to like 4, I think. I'm looking at them to see like, all right, any of y'all look scared or panicking in the eyes? And Colin was the most, you know what I mean? It was just a different type of like, nothing can break him. You know what I mean? I think that's really what it is.
The other game, the game against Michigan, they had 3 turnovers, I want to say, in the first half. They had 7 turnovers overall. 4 of them, I know, came in the final 3 minutes and 30 seconds of the game against Michigan. One of them was Colin, at least one. And he turned around and looked at the referee like, that happened. Okay. Like there was no like, oh my God, we're going to blow this. It's over. Like what you're saying, there was no panic to him.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And that's like I said, it's just, I think in sports in general, but especially in the college game, especially in the tournament situation, that's what you're looking for, because you understand like all this shit is mental. You know what I mean? So what they're going through mentally, for them to stay sharp in those type of moments, that's the team I'm putting my money on. You know what I mean? Because it's just like they're going to stay calm. And you see a lot of times this tournament, things start to go left. You'll see the kids' eyes get wide. They start shooting all crazy shots, and throwing the ball around. So I like the idea that they're focused.
Awesome. I want to ask you this because I'm very curious. As onlookers, we take a lot in the NCAA tournament for granted. Oh, yeah, this team, these schools will be in Philly playing. These schools will be out there in the Midwest region playing out there. You know, all that's going on. We kind of take it for granted. But behind the scenes, what's it like for an athlete such as yourself? Like, what was something that surprised you about going through the NCAA tournament process? Like going out, traveling, like how all of it worked. How different is it than the regular season?
Oh my God, it is so much money put into bro. It is. Listen. I just hold on. First of all, two things. I'm gonna take this moment to explain. My background is not like this because I just sit in my living room with this shit up on the wall. I am not that guy. I was streaming something for Twitch.
Oh yeah.
You
don't always wear your Villanova Letterman jacket.
No. I mean the Letterman. I ain't gonna lie. I wear that Letterman out like some house slippers, but outside of that, that's as far as I go. But now, all jokes aside, I was just telling them on the last show. I said they asked me about it, especially the Final Four. I was like, it's some of the most surreal amounts of luxury you ever seen in your life. Like I've been to the Super Bowl, I've been to the Final Four. I'm telling you, the Final Four is a bigger event.
What?
Listen.
Oh, I'm listening.
So my grandmother, I was a role player. So I don't know if it was the fact that I looked, a certain way in the jersey, or it was just luck of the draw or whatever, but they chose players to put up on the sides of buildings in Houston. Like, I'm not talking a poster, I'm not talking a fat head, I'm talking there's an entire building with like a roll down dropout printed thing of you. And one of the buildings, when you first come from the airport and you get into Houston, had me on it. And my grandmother called me like crying about it and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not even the guy. So like the amount of luxury and just pure access and like the shit that you see, the food spread was incredible. It's just the shit that you see at the Final Four, the hotel you stay in, the way they caddy you from everything. It's such an experience. Like it is, being a player, it is as rewarding as a fan. I will say that.
That's absolutely incredible. I take it now your grandmother has that banner of you like folded in her closet somewhere or on the side of her house.
It was too big to take off the building. Everybody got a picture.
I would assume it would just be like thrown over her house. Like, no, not okay. That is amazing. I never even thought about that. That's insane. Okay. Similar note, you mentioned the money that goes into it. Well, now, at the very least, and I have been banging this drum forever, I never thought college athletes should be paid, but I always felt like they should be allowed to make money, especially in the social media age where you are, and everyone, myself included, you're your own brand, and your social media outlet is your brand. What do you make of this world that we're living in now, that an athlete such as yourself, when you're playing, could have gotten sneakers to like Nike to sponsor your Instagram or whatever have you, whatever it might be? What do you make of the world we live in now regarding that?
I think it's a changing of the guard. I think you're gonna see, like, to me, Coach K retiring at this time is not a shock. Just because when you bring in, I'm gonna just be real. People are talking about the players are getting. You got to think from a coach's perspective, what are you dealing with now as far as these kids coming in? Right. And like over the past 10 years, past 12 years, the social media has like ramped up. You kind of see it. Like now these kids are coming in, they have a following. They have a bigger entourage than a college kid would usually have. And I think at this point, we're coming up on a time where like college is going to kind of be like the European pros, where you're pretty much a pro like from 16 and up. Because you look at what's happening in high school with the EYBL and the AAU movements and social media kind of going after those young kids and their following. So I think with NIL, college is going to become much more of a business, and it's a changing of the guard as far as what the game looks like. You know what I mean? From the competition level to now kids aren't as incentivized to do great in college so they can make money in the league or overseas. Now it's like, bro, I could be rich. I could be rich. I could be wealthy at 18. Like, it puts the pressure on middle school and high school now.
Right. It's almost as if, like, for instance, the guy that I always go to is Zion. Like, because, like, I knew who Zion was when he was 13. 12, throwing it down like the way he went. If it was all on an Instagram account that he could monetize or a YouTube channel that he could monetize, you're making money, man, because everybody, checking that out. ESPN's throwing that out there, and you're getting followers, subscribers, the whole thing, that way. So it is a totally different world. I do have to ask you the big question here. Kansas, Villanova, you got the number 3 team in the country in the Jayhawks, and you got the number 6 team or 5 team, if you look at the coaches poll, in the Villanova Wildcats. What do you like in this Final Four matchup?
I like the fact that there's no love found between either team. I was in a uniform for a win against Kansas to take us to the Final Four, but then I was, in a suit on the bench for a complete and total ass whooping out at Rock Chalk Arena or whatever the hell they call it. When we had to play them 3 years later, sorry. So, man, it's just these programs have so much history, especially over these past 10 years. Like, there have been a lot of run-ins. In 2018, in the Final Four, they had to play Kansas. There have been so many run-ins between the two of them. I love that there's no love found between the two. This is going to be a great game. I don't like that we don't have Justin Moore, I got to be honest. But sure. It's going to be a great game.
All right. Villanova will win this game if
they keep Kansas off the glass.
On the board.
The size that they have, if they get on them offensive rebounds, it's going to be a long night. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be out there. It's going to be a long night. It's going to be in some way or another, it is going to be a long night. But it depends on if it's going to be a long night just for the fans or for the team and the fans. If they can't keep them off the glass, it's going to be a long night for the team and the fans because they are athletic, bro, and they run. Like, they run.
Yeah, certainly. Let me ask you, so I can get this book on Amazon. What if the world stopped complaining about Mondays? I can get that on the old Amazon?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. It's on Amazon and paperback and the ebook. I know everybody on the Kindles and whatnot now, and I'm about to release the audio pretty soon, too. So It's on Amazon.
All right, I'm going to let you go back to putting up your Jason Lawson fatheads and your Tim Thomas things and your Jay Wright suits that you have in glass and all that fun stuff behind you.
And water to them, they inflate.
Exactly. D-Ray, always going to catch up with you, man. Hey, look, as a Temple guy, I can't root for Villanova, but I am happy if they do well because I believe in the Big Five, my friend. I believe in the Big Five.
I get it.
All right. Darrly Reynolds, always great catching up with you. Thanks for joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line.
Thanks.
Always great catching up with D-Ray. And that man did a live stream broadcast before he talked to me for 4 hours. And then he finally, after that interview, got to stand up and walk around. And probably, polish all his Villanova paraphernalia. But how about that? I never thought about that. And I always wanted to ask somebody that. And it just never dawned on me in the previous times we talked to D-Ray about what it's like for the NCAA tournament. I've never worked an NCAA tournament game. I've been to NCAA tournament games, plenty of them, but just never thought about the scale. Like, I've worked behind the scenes on so many. There's so many Super Bowls, 4 Super Bowls, and I know the grand scale of production that it is, but I never thought about it when it came to the NCAA tournament. And D-Ray, humble as he is, talking about the role player that he was at Villanova, that his face was like on a huge billboard drop, whatever you want to call it. And he's like, I'm just some guy. I'm not even a star. And here I am on the side of a building. Like, that's how much money goes into it. And that's how big a deal it is that we're even celebrating the role players of these teams, for instance. That's pretty epic. That's pretty epic. And pretty wild. So that's pretty cool. Also, I want to correct myself. I think in the interview I said that Justin Moore tore his ACL. It was his Achilles. He tore his Achilles. That was just want to be correct on that. But yeah, I think I misspoke in the interview and said that, but that's the real deal. Let me tell you about the great people of Rothman Orthopedics, because if you do have an orthopedic issue, the people to talk to is Rothman Orthopedics. When you have back pain, when that's got you down, When an idea of just a set of stairs seems impossible, when your joints are keeping you from doing what you love, you need world-class experts at Rothman Orthopedics. You need the Rothman approach to orthopedics. You need Rothman Orthopedics to help you get you back to being you. They're here to get you back to moving freely, back to living your life fully, and back to being the exact person that you were before you suffered an injury. If same-day appointments are available, you can start right now because they are at RothmanOrtho.com. Same-day appointments are available. So check out RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. How about the people of Windview? Windview is the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the biggest sports fan? If you have friends or family members who think they know everything about sports, play them in a Windview contest and see if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. You want to break up the monotony of family dinners and get-togethers? Play them in a quarter of, the little basketball action. Maybe a little NCAA tournament, whatever it might be. Windview has got you covered. Challenge a friend or family member to see if they could, walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can win real money prizes for making predictions on the games that they love so much. So download the Windview app right now to your phone and have yourself a good time. And how about the people of PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's jump into the chat check, ladies and gentlemen. First off, let's say this. Happy birthday, Alyssa. We didn't see you on Friday. You're sleeping in. It was your birthday. I saw you say that. Happy birthday, Alyssa. So, and hello to everybody in the chat. Kevin, what's going on? Sean, good morning. Sean, good morning, all. Oscars last night? That's true. The Oscars were last night. Will Smith, after his wife admitted cheating on him a couple of months ago. Yep. Mark, Bally says, Mark, good morning. Alyssa, good morning. Kevin, hello again. Dan Schwartz, good morning, everybody. Hope the weekend went well. It did for everybody except Chris Rock. I know people are taking sides, by the way, in all of this. I'm on Team Rock, by the way. And I like Will Smith a lot. And I give him every accolade possible for being a phenomenal actor. Proud guy from the area, the whole thing, West Philly and all that. But that was stupid. That was awful. And I know I've seen the word assault thrown around. Yeah, that's assault. A comedian making jokes at an event. And you chose to walk up on stage and humiliate that man by slapping him in the face. Anyway, Duck Rivers. I can't take credit for this. This is John Cheeseborough. Duck Rivers. That wasn't me. Mally, what's up? Says everyone, what's up? Dan Schwartz, hello again. Dan, is Pop the best out of Snap Crackle Pop? I think he is. Well, apparently that's what Will Smith thinks. And by the way, and I saw people do this with Juwan Howard, and I see people doing it with Will Smith. Oh, he punched him. Like, he didn't punch him. He slapped him. There is a difference. I know both are assault. We can say that. Both are assault. But when you say punch, if Chris Rock takes a punch to the face, which, by the way, a sucker punch to the face, he's not introducing the next thing. He's being carted off stage. Same thing if Juwan Howard punched Ward. He's not that. The two coaches aren't still scrumming. He's down on the ground, or his assistant coach is who he slapped. Still assault, but like a punch does infer something else. A punch is a clickbait type of thing. A slap is a little bit, I guess, more disrespectful. The open hand slap. But I'd rather be more disrespected than more physically pained. So I'd rather take a slap than a punch, if you're asking. If you're asking me, which I prefer and all. Let's see. I wonder if a contract fire Harden is coming regardless of his play. I wonder if a contract is going to Harden either. Yeah. Inconsistency is a great way to describe what's going on with the Sixers right now. Alyssa couldn't agree more. Dan, seems to be a trend for all teams lately, except for the Flyers. They consistently suck. Very true. By the way, how about Claude Giroux? 4 points, 2 games. Not bad for him. Oh, my God. Did you see how hard that woman slapped Chris Rock? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson watching the Oscars. I saw somebody say if The Rock was hosting the Oscars and not Chris Rock, do you think Will Smith would have gone up there and slapped him? Probably not. And Chris Rock was like one of the hosts. They had like 4 hosts or something. I don't know. I didn't watch. I only saw what everybody else saw. Smith was mad for real. Ape says, April, good morning. I agree entirely. Dan Schwartz, Chris Rock versus Will Smith on Celebrity Deathmatch. That would be interesting. Wow, that takes me back. Celebrity Deathmatch. I wonder what happened to that show. Cancel culture, probably. James, does Nova have any chance without Moore? I think they do. James, you're a Nova grad. Feel awful for him. I feel awful for him as well. I didn't notice this until somebody pointed out. He was like their leader in minutes, among other things, starter, of course. Look, you have a really well-coached team in Kansas with Bill Self, and you have a really well-coached team with Jay Wright and Villanova, obviously. Those two have gone head-to-head before. Jay Wright, I believe, has won 2 of the 3 matchups. I want to confirm that. I did make a note of that. He has won 2 of the 3 matchups. 2 of the 3 matchups in the NCAA tournament. But each time these teams have faced each other, one or the other has gone on to win the championship. So that's pretty wild. Jay Wright and Bill Self faced each other in 2008 in the Sweet 16. Bill Self won that. So that was a while ago. And Kansas went on to win the national title that time. That was a minute ago. They're a well-coached team, and they're a team that fights and scratches and claws. And as Darrly Reynolds just told us, if they own the glass against Kansas, then they'll win that game. Hopefully that's still the case. And look, I don't root for Villanova. I go for the most local team available, and that's Villanova right now. If they win, congratulations to them. Jay Wright's a class act is all time. I probably have more reason to root for Villanova than ever because Colin Gillespie and I went to the same high school. And D-Ray was pointing out, just watching Colin Gillespie play for Archbishop Wood, and I've told you guys before, I watched him win the city championship for the Catholic League against Newman Girardi in a game that he just, especially in the second half, just balled out. It was incredible. And I've talked to Jay Wright about Colin Gillespie, and what he was worried about would be, I think what a lot of people thought that somebody would be worried about if you're a head coach, is that you see a 6'3" white kid, for instance, and everyone thinks, oh, he's just like Ryan Arcidiacono. It's like, that's an unfair amount of pressure. Well, regardless, Gillespie has taken that pressure of being following in the footsteps of somebody great and being great as well. So that has been something to see. And they're a deep team, a greatly coached team. So, yes, they will hurt without having Justin Moore, no doubt. But I don't think they get blown out by any means against Kansas because of how good a team they are. The whole situation's mind-blowing. Dan, I totally agree. James, I have hope with Wright, as you should. As you should. Sean Gillespie. This is an interesting point. No relation to Colin Gillespie. Sean, if Will Smith had done it on his own, it would have been gangsta. I'm just reading gangsta. There's an A at the end. But if he only did it because his wife looked at him weird, then he looks like a sucker, especially with how Jada publicly embarrassed him in the past. See, that's what all this. If we knew nothing about their history together, about her infidelity, about his infidelity, the fact that they've both been public about their infidelity, and that's their relationship, but then somebody making a G.I. Jane joke, like not even a good joke, not even a funny joke. Like, that was the most offensive thing about the joke, was it wasn't at all funny. It was G.I. Jane? Really, Chris Rock? You're one of the funniest people to walk the planet, and that's what you got? I know a lot of times other people are writing this stuff and they just go up and read it, but that's still weird. But yeah, the fact that he laughs at it first, and then 2 seconds later, he's enraged by it enough to go slap another man, that's fraudulent. That's another decree you could throw down on it. Where is everyone? I missed Friday's show because it was my birthday. Yes, and once again, Alyssa, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Alyssa, says Mally. Alyssa says, thanks, Mally. Mullet, Will, not fresh at all, homie. Mullet, fair point. Monday, cold as hell. Maybe a lot of calls out. People are sleeping in, possibly. But the weather change gets a lot of people. I was working on my latest woodworking project outside yesterday. Oh, it was chilly. It was chilly. And as I'm working on it, I'm taking these old 100-year-old pieces of pine and putting them together to make a tabletop for this coffee station I'm building for our kitchen. And my daughter was outside playing, and she really likes hitting off a tee now, which is great just to watch her play a sport. And she's like hitting off the tee and all this stuff. 2.5, and then she went inside because she was cold. She had a winter jacket on, a hat, long sleeve shirt, sweatshirt, sweatpants, whole thing. And she walks inside. 2 minutes later, she opens the back door to yell, "Daddy, come in." And I'm like, "I'm still working, sweet. I'll be right there." But her jacket was off. And I was like, "You can't come out here again because it's cold. You don't have your jacket." And then like 2 minutes later, she comes back out. This time she didn't have no jacket, no hat, no shirt, just the pants. And I'm like, "It's too cold, sweetie. You don't have a shirt on. Go back inside." Next time, fully naked. She was wearing less and less clothes. My barbarian daughter, as she was checking in with me in the background, I'm like, "Baby, go inside, please, sweetie. Go inside." And she's like, "Okay." Slows the door. And I was like, "Tell Alexa to set the timer, all right, for 5 minutes, and that's when I'll be in." And then, of course, again, totally nude. She then told me when 5 minutes were up, and I was like, "All right, that's when I'll be in." Like, now hopefully she doesn't catch a cold with all that. Slow day in the chat. I guess most of us haven't woken up yet. Falconator, what's going on? Ooh, Sean. Will Smith looks weak, not Big Willie style like he thinks. Very true. Real time. So disappointed in Will Smith because I believe Jada wouldn't have done that for him. And she has disrespected him left and right. Real time. What up to you? An excellent point. Wait, hold on a second there. Happy birthday, Alyssa. Alyssa, did you just say your age? The Dirty 30, huh? Welcome aboard. April. All I know is people down here are losing their ish already over UNC and Duke. I couldn't believe, like, it was one of those things, April, that I think I was watching Night Sports Center on, and I was doing something, and I heard the broadcaster say, for the first time ever, UNC and Duke will match up. And I go, first time? How is that possible? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, it's just something that never dawned on me until I heard it and go, yeah, why wouldn't that? Of course. But yeah, first time in the NCAA tournament, they never matched up. I was just talking to somebody about Tobacco Road yesterday, and I always forget that it's not just Duke and UNC. It's, it's NC State as well. It's the Wolfpack as well. It's, all the schools down there. It's wild, man. What a hell of a tradition. So I'm sure April, they're all losing their minds down there. Jim Grassmeter, what's up, Jim? Real time. Yeah, April, that's what I'm saying. That wasn't a punch. Yeah. I always find it funny when I'm not somebody else's dad and I'm disappointed in them. Like, real time, you said you're disappointed in Will Smith. I agree with you. I am disappointed in Will Smith too, because the guy was great at Ollie. I mentioned Pursuit of Happiness. He's had this great career, just phenomenal. And I feel like a lot of times he's been overlooked. And I think Jim Carrey not winning for Man on the Moon, and not even being nominated for an Oscar for Man on the Moon, and I think Will Smith not winning for either Pursuit of Happiness or Ali are two great travesties. And Will Smith, if you remember, when he was nominated for Ali, I believe he left the Oscars that night before they even gave away Best Actor, because his son was sick. One of his kids was sick, and he was like, "I got to get home," and he went home. That was it. At least that's what came out afterwards. But I'm like really happy for this guy. I didn't even know he was up for an Oscar. I don't care about the Oscars. They're not what they used to be. I mean, movies aren't what they used to be. We're all about what show are you watching now. We're not about what movie have you seen lately. That's not the way we've evolved as a society. In a lot of ways, movies are like baseball. Yeah. Anyway, but for me, I didn't even know what was going on last night until I saw that the slap happened. But yeah, I'm watching Will Smith and I'm like happy for this guy and his entire career. And the night he has the biggest night of his life, he does something like probably the stupidest thing he's done in a public setting in quite a long time. Jada would have never, she probably would have pointed and laughed. She's got years of secrets on him. Yeah, I don't know. They got a weird relationship, bro. Oh, what's going on? Fresh Prince has gone stale at this point, sadly. Let's find whatever tent Jazzy Jeff is living out of and give him a chance. Hey, Liz says, one time I'll say it out loud. Okay, then I won't say it again. I won't say it again. Polly Brown. What's up, Polly Brown? Mullet, the devil and love made him do it. Apparently. T-Bro, it took me a second, but I got it now. Wilson has said, welcome to Earth, then slept Chris Rock. So true. So true. Now, that would have been funny. Welcome to Earth. Bang! Hit the alien. Will and Jim both have comedic backgrounds. Will and Jim? Who's Jim? I'm missing Jim. Jada? I don't know. Anyway, it was really messed up. And I know it's something we're going to be talking about for a lot. Jim Krasmeter, Tobias Harris is so frustrating. Played great in the first half and then became a ghost in the second half like usual and disappeared in that second half. Totally right. Totally right. I don't know what the deal is, but here's my theory. If I'm Doc Rivers, my way of coaching up Tobias Harris is you get 3 dribbles. That's it. If you get the ball in the wing, 3 dribbles. You don't get the fake, shoot, miss. Those are when Tobias Harris does not have success, and that's what it felt like he was doing a lot more of in the second half. 3 dribbles. That's all you got. Oh, Jim Carrey. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, Falconator. I apologize. Will and Jim both have comedic backgrounds. The Academy never likes that. Takes it seriously. Yeah, it feels like you got to get snubbed. Like Robin Williams, it feels like he gets snubbed until Goodwill Hunting. Will Smith obviously got snubbed until the movie he played Serena and Venus's dad. I don't even know the King, the movie he was in. I didn't see it. But like I feel like, and it's a movie I'll see eventually. Like here's what I don't know about you guys, but here's where I am with movies in my life. I'll watch a movie on my own. When it comes to like my wife or other people, they're all about TV shows. They want to watch a TV show. Sometimes I don't want the commitment. Sometimes I just want to know I'll throw 2 hours at something and I'll have the beginning and the end of it. It won't be like, oh, I'll throw 2 hours of this and I'm only 2 episodes into a 10-episode season. What? No, sometimes I enjoy making a big old bowl of popcorn, sitting on the sofa. Love to have I don't drink soda often. But man, if I'm having popcorn, I got to have myself a soda. I got to have myself a Coke, a Pepsi, a Sprite, maybe even a Fanta if I'm feeling fancy. And I'll sit there and I'll watch, oh man, nice orange Fanta. Oh, and I'll watch a movie, best thing in the world. But when it comes to, regularly like watching TV with my wife, it's all about TV shows. So that's where I'm at with TV. So at some point, I will sit down and I'll watch this King movie, whatever the story of Venus and Serena and their dad. I'll watch it because I enjoy Will Smith as an actor. But last night, slaps a guy in the face and then talks to everyone about love. I don't think so. Jada was on A Different World. That was quite the TV show. I remember. Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are fantastic as per usual. Let's jump into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. All right, here's what I got for you. Real quick. Sixers back in action tomorrow night against the Milwaukee Bucks. Sixers go from first to fourth in a matter of a couple of hours. So there you go. So we got that going on for us at the 7 o'clock tip-off in South Philadelphia tomorrow night. So we'll check that out. The Villanova back in action Saturday, taking on Kansas. Duke UNC is the later game. You have Villanova versus Kansas at 6:09 on Saturday, and then Duke UNC at 8:49. Like I said, they are the later game. That's the show, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I can't wait to see what else comes out regarding this whole Oscars fiasco. But hey, we're talking Oscars, so I guess they win in the end, huh? Jim Hyder produced the program, did a phenomenal job as per usual. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. My name is Mark Farzetta from the Steven Singer Studios. This is the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement, DestinationRetirement.com. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow. Take it easy.